when you're making or hitting that dial button, I want you guys to focus on who's the right person and who's the wrong person. Because I listen to a lot of your calls and I see some of your calls are 46 minutes and you didn't even quote the person. You spent an hour with the wrong person who you probably knew was the wrong person, but you're trying to just kind of squeeze as much as you can there. So I just wanted to help characterize a few things for you guys. If you want to take notes, feel free to take notes about who the right person is and who the wrong person is. We all know the right person is, you can hear they have some receptive, when you say hello, you can hear they're receptive on the phone. They're not like, why are you calling? Or they're mean. Like that's the wrong person. They're rude, they want to get off the phone, they don't feel like they need your help, and they're not going to give you any information. Okay, and eventually you kind of crack with it and they eventually give you a little information. But off the bat, in the first 30 seconds, you're going to get that feeling, especially as a live transfer agent, you're going to feel like, man, this person is nice. They actually do want my help. And that's the people that you want. Not someone who's rude, who's just sitting there, if they're being a jerk to you. You gotta respect your time too, because you only have so many phone calls. The biggest bottleneck in your day is time. That's a constraint. So the time that you have, you wanna use that efficiently. So like Phil said, first 10 seconds, man, nice Miss Betty or nice Mr. Donald, like decent guy. And if he's not, then you just gotta be straight to the point with him and you gotta weed him out. If this person's not gonna open up and you don't feel like they can be a client that you can actually serve, this is a guy that you can build a relationship with, then don't waste your time. Second thing is there has to be clear pain. Don't spend time if someone's not giving you clear pain. If they're just like, yeah, I don't know, cool. Maybe it's like, just give me the numbers, I'll get back to you, I'll think about it. Like that's someone who's very low quality in the sense of, are they gonna buy? So are you gonna spend 30 minutes trying to crack their shell, to break them down, when they're just not even, they don't have a clear pain? People don't buy just to buy life insurance. It's an invisible product. You have to have some type of pain. There has to be a clear reason why. So if you're not getting that feeling of like, man, this person doesn't have a clear why, stop in the middle of the presentation and say, Miss Betty, do you want me to help you with this? Is this something that's actually important to you? Do you want to get life insurance? If she says, I don't know, I need to think about it, okay, I'm gonna find someone who actually needs my help. Cool? So I think a lot of people are wasting, especially just trying to like, I got someone on the phone here, just like, how do I save this person from going? Like, if they don't have pain, they're not gonna buy. Cool. Another reason for someone with that's a right buyer and a wrong buyer is income versus no income. If they start off the call by saying certain things like, I don't know, I'm probably gonna have my daughter pay for this, or you can just feel like, okay, gotcha. And they're, yeah, well, I don't have a checking account, or yeah, I don't have any money for something like this. I need something for 20 to 30 bucks. Like that's a red flag. And you gotta keep track of those red flags in the sales call, because you don't want to keep pushing through. You can stop that person when you can tell they don't have money. Well, Miss Betty, if you found an option here that you like for life insurance, how do you expect to pay for this? And you guys can be blunt. So give permission, because exactly, if this person's I'm not gonna spend, in my mind, I'm not spending 20 minutes with this lady who at the end is gonna take me through an app, who doesn't have a bank account, or who's not gonna go into the application because she needs to think about the price. I'm not gonna spend 20, 30 minutes with her, because I'm gonna go out there and find someone who actually has the money, who characterizes as the right buyer. Yeah. Fifth thing for you is timeliness is important. Someone about like the receptiveness, I think a lot of people who, for example, you have to feel them out. Phil does a great job of this. Someone who's like straight to the point, you gotta be straight to the point with them as well, compared to someone who's straight to the point and rude, okay? So there's a difference between someone who's like, I appreciate I have pain, I just wanna get this thing moving, compared to someone who's like, all right, just get to the numbers, I don't really care. So you gotta really weed those people out. Just because someone is like straight to the point doesn't mean that you have to like consider them a non-buyer. It's like, okay, do they have a pain? They do have a pain. Do they have a need? Yes, they do. This person is just someone who wants to just go right to the point, and Phil does a good job of really weeding this out. So don't just close yourself off and be like, man, this person's not being receptive. You want to ask the questions. But when you feel someone is just like straight to the point, Josh, is it cool? It sounds to me that you're just typically men. It sounds to me that you're a very straight to the point type of guy. Is that cool if I be straight to the point with you? Exactly what I want. And then you can go out there, instead of trying to extract 30 questions to this guy who's probably pissed off at you now and you're wasting 15 minutes with, just be straight to the point with him and run. Because those people are typically, they're gonna buy straight to the point or they're not gonna buy straight to the point. You can't really shake them and turn them into a methodical buyer. That's just not how they are. So you got to sell to their style, and you got to really have that internal feeling, that feeling of like, man, this is how they are, it's how they've been their whole life. I don't know if I can shake this person. Cool. You'll know in the first 30 seconds is what I talked about, and I think it's all about that feeling. This feels right or this feels wrong. You guys know which ones feel wrong and which ones feels right. So go with your gut. I think you got to believe in your gut. Like, you know, bam, I got this person. Take that. Now, there's some rules that I want us to focus on with efficiency that are really, really important, that I think that a lot of us maybe struggle with, and are frameworks that I live by for the longest time when I was selling. I am not spending more than 15 minutes to give someone numbers. So if you find yourself 20, 30 minutes in and you haven't quoted someone, there's typically an issue. Intro takes 30 seconds. How we works takes about 30 seconds. The medical portion, which we need to be swift on, takes maybe 2 to 3 minutes. If you're doing it right and you're kind of allowing yourself to be smooth, quick, asking the questions, knowing that we have the carriers that we have, weed them out quick, and then go right into credibility fast, and then how we work. That question asking framework should be 7 to 8 minutes there. So 7 to 8 minutes plus maybe 5 minutes before. You're then jumping in the numbers. The numbers are then being explained, and then if they're buying or not. So if you find your calls 20 minutes in, 25 minutes in, and you're going into the pitch, or if you're going into the close 20 minutes in, you're just kind of there's gaps or areas that you need to tighten up. 45 minutes, an hour is a good sales call. In my mind, I don't like spending an hour 30, because here's why I don't like doing that. I don't want to spend 40 minutes with Miss Betty, and then I give her numbers and she says she needs to think about it. Anytime, I'm telling you guys, I swear, every time I would speak more than 30 minutes, there was no way that I'm not selling this lady. Like, you spent 30, 40 minutes of my time, man, we're finding a way. Like, I'm telling you, I would get this feeling in my gut, like, okay, gosh, because I could spend time. I got new leads coming in. How am I spending 40 minutes with someone who's not gonna buy? That doesn't make sense to me. So like, whatever it is, I had this feeling in my gut, like, I don't care. You took up 40 minutes of my time, I gotta help you. Because on the flip side, when I was spending $45, $50 per lead, I just can't spend that much time with someone, and then my lead flow come in, and then guess what? Now this lead is now 6 minutes not being called, 7 minutes being called. A new lead not 8 minutes called. 12 minutes called, 15 minutes calls. That lead's gone now to me, and I just spent $50 on it. So that's the frame I always operate. Is like, I need to be efficient with this lady, because every minute that new lead that comes in is ticking, is like, that's my less likelihood that she's not by her phone, or less likely for her battery on her phone's coming up. So that's how I thought, and that's why I was so efficient, or I had to find a deal so that I could be like, okay, gosh, at least I sold this lady after 40 minutes of talking to her about her pets. Now I can kind of take an ease and be like, not so stressed. So that's how I used to operate, and I think it's very, very important for us to remind ourselves, 30 minutes, we gotta be into the application. You know, at the end of the application, moving into it. If not, like, we've wasted our time. Efficiency comes to the mindset. Like, I think our efficiency begins to fade when we have the distractions that come in our way. For me, when I was selling and I was at the lowest point in my life in my business, and I gave up everything. I just bought a house with my brother. I didn't have any money, and I had to make sure that my mortgage was paid. Guess what I did? I stayed in that office for whatever I could do. Like, you guys like have to put your back against the wall to just do whatever it can. And we take things for granted. Like, we have the systems and processes, but I had a cell phone and leads, and I had bills to pay, and it was very low points in my life. But I knew I had the ability to love people, and I knew that I had the ability that I had products to care for people, and I wanted to help people, and I knew that I could change my life if I sat in that office and called leads. And that's literally what changed my life. And I want this for all of you guys. And I pour into this because that saved me. And that was because I had the mindset of I had to do whatever it took. And I had the leads, I had the people, they have the problems, and that there was agents out there that were gonna do them wrong, but I wanted to save the day. So the distractions came. I had a girlfriend at the time. She'd come knocking on my door. She lived 2 minutes from me. She would knock on my door. She would text me. I said, I can't talk right now. Like, that's literally what I did. And I don't want you guys to be psycho like me, but that's what I had to go through. She'd come on and like, my window was open, and she's throwing stuff at my door to come down. I'm like, I can't. Like, I have to do this. Like, I make this commitment to myself. I have to be here for myself. And just make that sacrifice for yourself. You stay locked in. The phone was not near me. Like, I had chargeback city, like $6,000 chargebacks at Americo every day. Like, life was shit. I'm being completely honest. But like, I knew as long as if I had leads and I had my like people the call, I would make this through. So I didn't deal with the customer service. I didn't deal with, you know, like any other stuff in my life. I knew I had to make sure this was taken care of. So just focus on the deal by noon. That really changed my life. And I think if you guys can focus on how can I find deals by the morning, it'll free up everything for you. You'll have that momentum, and it will be everything that you need. But it was all by efficiency, because the biggest thing that stressed me out the most was that when it came 5, 6 o'clock and I didn't sell someone because I wasn't efficient enough. I wasn't like doing whatever it took to be there. So that's all the principles that I use, from the dialing, the urgency on the phone, to setting those appointments, to calling those people that are right there across the finish line, and blocking out my mornings and being first on the phones, and double dial and triple dial that helped me become efficient, that I know could be helpful for you. But as time goes on, the biggest challenge in efficiency is having the discipline to do it every day. And I think if you can just be disciplined in all areas of your life, you guys will grow and you will see the results and you will have these consistent results. But it sucks doing it every day. It really does. It's not fun. I feel for you guys. Like, I want to be in the game with you guys. I know where you all are. It's like I don't want you guys to feel like Peter sits there and doesn't understand. Like, I understand the dials and the pain, but it's like, this lock in and do it. I promise you, it'll be so worth it. And conserve yourself, so that when the weekend comes, you've won the week. And the biggest thing right now is sometimes we stretch our time off into the weekend because we aren't efficient during the Monday through Friday. So if you can be efficient through Monday through Friday, I'm telling you, you can hit your 10 deals. And efficient as possible Monday through Friday, you can have the freedom for the weekends. And that's what I really want for you guys. So that's all I have for you guys. I hope this was helpful to give you some context. But if you have any questions about being efficient, or I don't know if Micah, you wanted to add anything on what you've learned, how to help them become more efficient.